views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Charlie Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll discuss the resuming of Lights On Off Broadway shows and what that means for artists as the city slowly reopens smaller venues. After that, we'll be joined by Bronx Arts Ensemble newly appointed executive director, Judith Ensemble, and multi-Grammy nominee saxophonist Miguel Zenon to discuss the upcoming concert in celebration of Jazz Appreciation Month. Then we'll speak to illustrator, printmaking artist, and Chinatown muralist about her recent trip to Puerto Rico and her activism efforts through her artistry. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on spoken word artist and poet Ameresoul, who shares his new video series showcasing all things poetry, followed by a performance in honor of National Poetry Month that you don't want to miss. So sit back, eat, prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So it's been a full year since New York City shut down, and now many small venues, including off-Broadway theaters, are making a comeback. The Theater Center is among one of the venues showcasing plays at a 33% capacity for people to enjoy and for artists to perform their craft live on stage in front of an audience. And joining us to tell us more, we welcome Theater Center General Manager Catherine Russell. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for taking the time to be with us. And you can feel my enthusiasm because, oh my, we are so longing for us to just get back to normal or even just be in each other's presence. So what is this like for you?
Well, the Theater Center closed down March 15th, 2020, and starting like 2 days later, I started trying to figure out how we could reopen safely. So it's been over a year. So it's surreal for me. I'm very excited that we're starting performances tonight. There'll be the first live actors on stage, I believe, in New York City, in a recurring show. So we're going to be doing The Office, a musical parody, to Sold Out Houses when it closed March 15th, 2020. And then Perfect Crime has been running for 33 years. We're going to celebrate our 34th anniversary on April 18th. So these are going to be the first two shows opening in New York with a live audience. And I'm so excited and so grateful that we've been allowed to open. I'm full of gratitude and excitement today.
Well, you know, and I get it. Now, there's some, there's different regulations within seating in a live performance. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the fact that you have to make sure that the space has a certain temperature, it's kept at a certain temperature, that people still have to wear a mask, that people have to, their temperatures need to be checked? Like, how does that also play in this new norm, I guess is the best way to phrase it?
Well, as things started to open up in June and July, gradually, I noticed that businesses were opening, but nobody was talking about small theaters. It would be really hard for Broadway to open at reduced capacity. Broadway makes a lot of money, but it costs a lot of money to run. There are many unions involved in Broadway. Off Broadway basically has only a few unions, Actors Equity, in 802. We don't have the treasurers and the stagehands. And so it's much less expensive to run an off-Broadway show. So I understood that Broadway wasn't going to open for a while at a reduced capacity, but I thought that off-Broadway could. And gradually, restaurants were allowed to open and gyms were allowed to open. The day that I read that bowling alleys were allowed to open, I went nuts. I was like, I'm glad they're all opening. Why the hell are theaters not allowed to open where you would wear a mask all the time sitting in a theater? So I called the lawyer, Jim Mermigas, who represented the gyms and the restaurants, and got them open and asked if he would take a case of small venues. And I organized some off-Broadway theaters and some comedy clubs. And we organized a class action suit. And a week before we were to go to court, Governor Cuomo decided to open the theater at 33%. We're continuing with the suit to push for 50%, but right now I'm over the moon, grateful to Cuomo, to de Blasio, to the state of New York for letting us open even at 33%. In order to be able to open, I had to provide literally several hundred pages of declaration showing why our theaters were safe. So I'm an expert on this. It seems to me most venues or businesses, it's two things. It's vaccination and ventilation. So everyone at the theater center who works here, people in the box office, the house managers, the actors, the woman who cleans, along with me, we are all doubly vaxxed already. So anybody walking into our theater would be surrounded by employees who've been vaccinated, and they will all be wearing masks. The actors will not wear masks on the stage, but everybody else is maxed and vaxxed. I also invested in air scrubbers this summer. You can install in your HVAC ducts these amazing mechanical things that scrub the air. I call it casino air, but it basically scrubs the air of any germs. It deactivates the RNA in every germ molecule. And so the air coming out of the ducts is cleaner than outside air. We have this great monitor, and it shows outside air is like 42 and our air is 12. Lower is better. So I feel really safe being at the theater center, and I absolutely know that people walking into the theater will feel safe. I wouldn't have opened if I didn't think that way. I'm happy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm happy at 33. I'm hoping for 50 and eventually 100%, but I'll take 33. I want to be in a room again with people telling a story. I run the theater. I'm also in the show Perfect Crime. I did all but 4 performances in 34 years. So I've only 4 shows. I had a year off. I love being on a stage and telling a story. I love sitting in the audience, standing in the back of the theater with a group of people hearing a story communally. Netflix is great, but you're sitting on your couch by yourself or with your loved ones, and that's it. Something magical about being in a room with people you don't know, laughing or crying or just feeling that. And I think we've all missed that a lot. So I'm thrilled to be one of the first to be able to do that.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. I can sense your enthusiasm, and it's lovely that you've done all this extensive research. You're right. I mean, I just sat here listening to everything you taught us. I mean, you've obviously become the expert in basically monitoring the air, because that's really what we all need to be concerning ourselves with.
It's very important to make sure that if you go into a business or a venue, that it is safe. And as a person at this particular venue, I'm responsible. So, and all the time. So I have to make sure that it's safe, and I'm very confident that it is.
All right. So now let's talk about the shows before we go. So both shows that are on stage right now, both The Office and Perfect Crime, how long are they going to be running at the theater center?
Well, The Office had run for a year and a half before we were forced to close down. It was selling out. It's a joyous show. If anybody's ever watched The Office, they'll laugh. It's a wonderful, like irreverent sort of homage to The Office, and it's a musical. It's really fun. The cast is unbelievably talented. I had never really watched The Office when it first opened here. During the pandemic, I have seen it, and I appreciate it even more. But as a person who'd never seen The Office, really, I loved it when I saw it 2 years ago. So I'm very excited to have that show be here. People need to laugh again. The other
how long is it going to be running? How long is it going to be running?
As long as, I hope it runs for years.
Got it. It's just running. That's it. We reopened and we're running. Got it.
I mean, we were selling out. We've sold out opening night. We're very full already, granted at 66 seats, but there are plenty of people who want to come and see the show. The other show, Perfect Crime, is the longest running play ever in the city of New York. It's run for 34 years. It opened in April of 1987. So when we reopen, I plan on it running another 30 years. Probably not with me in it. I'll be dead. But, I'm proud that I've done all but 4 performances since 1987. So I just missed my brother and sister's weddings. When I got married myself, I got married at City Hall, came right back to work. So I'm a loves being at the theater. So I run a long time also. Plus, let me add that many other shows are coming and sharing the space with us. There's a wonderful show called Lily's based on the beautiful movie that's opening in May. And there's another 80s dance party called Rear View Mirror that will be opening in June. So this theater is going to be full of safe performances starting like at noon going through to about 11 o'clock or midnight every single day. So I hope people come.
Wonderful. And thank you for bringing it to our audience. Oh my goodness. I can feel your enthusiasm. Catherine Russell, General Manager at the Theater Center. And again, she gave us a nice list of all the safe productions that are going up. We're excited to have New York reopen in this form. And so if you guys are interested in tickets and seeing one of the plays at the Theater Center, all you got to do is visit theatercenter.com. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out about an upcoming concert celebrating jazz music. Don't go anywhere.
The Universal Hip Hop Museum is taking Bronxites back in time with their latest exhibit, Revolution of Hip Hop.
They get a chance to experience the beginning of a phenomenal musical culture.
Celebrating the essence and history of hip hop, the exhibition will give music lovers a sneak peek of what's to come with the long-awaited arrival of the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
This is our pop-up. As you know, the actual museum is being constructed as we speak across the street. So we are occupying 2,500 square feet in this space until that's done, which I believe will be like 50,000 square feet.
At the pop-up exhibit, Bronxites will experience the innovative music, art, dance, and fashion that originated in the streets of New York, particularly in the Bronx, taking many viewers on a trip down memory lane.
This in particular is one. This is a photo of me at the age of 15. That's in 1980.
Oh my God, it's like crazy memories. I'm looking around, I'm just seeing all the different artifacts and photos and pictures of people and just memories, just basic memories.
Revolution Hip Hop will not only take guests on a journey to the past. The exhibit also uses modern-day technology to take guests on an interactive journey through hip-hop history.
MIT and Microsoft collaborated to create the breakbeat narrative. What they did was create an artificial intelligence experience called the breakbeat narrative, once again, and that will take you on a hip-hop experience. And based on the answers that you provide the artificial intelligence computer, a custom story and a custom musical playlist that's geared to your musical taste will pop up.
To get your personalized music playlist and experience the world of 1980s hip-hop, you can visit their pop-up location at the Bronx Terminal Market. The exhibit will be on display until August 29th, 2021. To reserve your tickets, visit the link below. Reporting for BronxNet, Kip and Aline.
Welcome back. It is Jazz Appreciation Month, and the Bronx Arts Ensemble is holding its concert hall performance featuring a special duo with Miguel Zenon and Luis Perdomo. The program will pay homage to the artist born and raised in the Bronx with strong roots tied to the Bronx. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome newly appointed Executive Director Judith Insel and multi-Grammy nominee in Guggenheim and MacArthur Fellow saxophonist Miguel Zenon. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Rhina. So great to be back.
We love having you on. I feel like I should be bowing to you both. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Judith.
Your enthusiasm is amazing. It's very Bronx.
It's so well deserved, and I'm so happy that it's official now. And I look forward to seeing everything that's going to be programmed moving forward. I mean, you've done a magnificent job via, the pandemic. And so, look at what you're bringing us already. I mean,
yes.
As I mentioned while we were off air, this demigod.
Yes, Miguel is definitely all that. I'm so glad that he's performing for us with his duo partner, Luis.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here with us, Miguel.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And yeah, very excited about this whole collaboration. And I want to thank Judith once again for reaching out and making this happen. This has been sort of like a long time coming. We started kind of last year trying to put this together before the pandemic, and then everything stopped for a while. So I really have to commend Judith for, you just kept trying, and let's just keep trying until we made something happen. And, very, very, very happy to be part of this and just very grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, how wonderful. So how did you eventually make it happen, Judith?
So basically, as Miguel pointed to, we were supposed to have him featured last season as part of our feature on Puerto Rican composers and performers. And so in this climate, it was very difficult to figure out how we could execute that with the people that we had promised to work with before. So we kind of got our two heads together and figured out the best way to move forward. And I said to him, Miguel, could you have a duo presentation with Luis Perdomo? Because I knew that they were performing a lot together. And Luis is actually someone who lives and works in the Bronx as a jazz pianist. And I knew that they were really great collaborators. So we decided to make that work for our Jazz Appreciation Month.
And so while we are still operating virtually, we just recently had another guest who's doing live performances in theater. Their theaters opened up at 33% capacity. So how long before Bronx Arts Ensemble begins performing in front of a live audience?
Well, that's like one of our number one goals. So we are desperate to get back in front of our Bronx audiences and give them the music live and in person. So we've been in a lot of talks with our different venue partners. Bronx Arts Ensemble actually doesn't have its own venue. So we work together with partners throughout the borough to actually put on our presentations. So as soon as we can, that's really the answer. You might actually even see us out in the community in a park, as we usually would be in a park presentation, or in doing our performances in smaller venues with smaller audience member numbers.
So for now, we have to just embrace the fact that the presentations are global because they're accessible to the entire world. And so Miguel, just walk us through a little bit of what this particular presentation is gonna entail and highlight.
Yeah, of course. So when Judith and I spoke initially, we were trying to come up with a few options, and obviously the option of doing the duo seemed like an obvious one, mainly because Luis and I have been playing together for a long time, and also we have been playing together a lot during this time, doing things like this. So we've been kind of building up a repertoire and doing a few different things. Also, like Judith mentioned, Luis is a resident of the Bronx. So that kind of put a lot of things, a lot of the elements that we were looking for were kind of there already. What we decided to do for this was to focus in terms of the repertoire on artists who have roots in the Bronx, I'm from Puerto Rico, as many of you know, so I was trying to take that side of it. So we're featuring music by the great Jerry Gonzalez, New Yorker with Puerto Rican roots, grew up in the Bronx, founded the amazing For Apache band along with his brother Andy Gonzalez. Also Arsenio Rodriguez, the amazing Cuban genius who lived in the Bronx for a long time and created music there. Also artists from the other side, the jazz side, Elmo Hope, the great bebop pianist, and Donald Byrd, trumpet player and composer. All these artists, I mean, in the case of Donald Byrd and Elmo Hope, they actually have their own streets named after them. So they have really deep roots in the Bronx. And for me, it's a lot of fun because I got to explore a little bit of the history, their time in the Bronx, where the streets are, what are the neighborhoods. I actually remember driving around with Luis some time ago, and he was telling me, oh, this is where so-and-so used to live, this is where so-and-so used to play, there used to be a club here. So it was really informative for me to see there was so much history, musical history in the Bronx, and so deeply rooted in the community. Myself also, I have to say in terms of a personal note, I have a lot of family in the Bronx. My father lived there, and I used to come visit him when I was a young guy. Actually, the first place I ever visited outside of Puerto Rico was the Bronx. I went to Grand Concourse 175th, where they still are today, to visit them. So I have a lot of roots in the borough too, in the community. So it's really special. The whole thing was really special for us.
It sounds like it was special to you. And I just, out of curiosity, how much of that research feeds your delivery in performance?
I think, one of the things that I've found as an artist, and everyone is different, of course, but for me, the research process is something that I really enjoy, and definitely feeds the music and feeds the delivery in a way, the preparation, the way the repertoire comes together, the way we think about how the set is going to flow, and also when you're dealing with this music and you're paying homage to such amazing artists, it's hard not to be in touch with that, not to be influenced by their legacy and their music. And even in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, so this is what they would have done here, like maybe try to do it something similar or something different. So it definitely influences what we're doing musically, for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you for breaking it down for any future musicians or anybody who is aspiring to get to that genius level. These are all the notes that I think should be taken, and then there's also the invocation of spirit in the process, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Because that's its own thing. But thank you. And Judith, so before we go, do you want to share a little bit more about, of course, the concert, but what else Bronx Arts Ensemble has in store for the remainder of the month?
Well, for the remainder of the month, the major focus is on this concert, and really giving the appreciation to jazz that it deserves. As Miguel pointed out, a lot of jazz history actually originates from the Bronx, and we just wanted to make sure we celebrated the whole month of this idea of improvisation, creativity, and actually keeping our audiences engaged online. As we said before, we're so desperately wanting to get back in person with everybody to perform, in those intimate gatherings of the communities that we serve all over the Bronx. But right now, we're still online, and we're trying to give our best effort to keep holding up the Bronx and keeping the arts going.
Yes, and you're doing a great job of it. And we thank you once again, Miguel Zenon, for making the time to be with us on air. Judith Incel, Executive Director of Bronx Arts Ensemble. And you guys, once again, the Bronx Arts Ensemble Jazz Concert with Miguel Zenon and Luis Perdomo is happening this Sunday, April 18th at 1 p.m. And for more information, you can visit BronxArtsEnsemble.org. Okay, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak to a muralist from NYC. Don't go anywhere. Our next guest is an award-winning illustrator, muralist, and printmaking artist who loves creating whimsical images inspired by her environments and traveling around the world. Her murals can be seen throughout New York City, Beijing, and now Puerto Rico. Last summer also, she co-founded the Chinatown Mural Project, which is dedicated to showcasing colorful murals that reflect Chinese American life in Chinatown to attract people back to the neighborhood. Joining us to tell us more, please welcome Peach Tao. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. A little bit nervous, but overall very happy to be here.
Well, welcome back to New York, I should say. You just recently came back from Puerto Rico after spending how much time over there?
Roughly 7 days. Yeah, I wish I had more time. It's so beautiful. And I still have so much to see.
So were you out there for pleasure and found yourself creating artwork? What were you out there for?
Oh, just for some much needed air, because I've been in New York area for the past 13 months, like a lot of people. And I saw like, okay, it's an easy area to get to. And I love the island. I've been there before and I always wanted to go back.
That's lovely. And this time around, you actually got to leave your mark there, huh?
Yeah, first time leaving a little mark. I got there and right before I left, I was randomly looking through Instagram and I saw this account and it seems like they are an artist collective. It's all in Spanish, but I guessed they're an artist collective painting murals in La Perla in San Juan.
La Perla. Woo,
yeah, out of all places. Yeah, so I was like, why not? And it's run by two very wonderful female artists, Ingrid and Raquel, and they were very, very welcoming, very nice, and they showed me around, and we picked a spot. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's so beautiful because that just goes to show you the universal language of artistry, right? Because even though it was in Spanish, somehow you were able to figure it out and you found your community over there and your people and were welcome to incorporate your artistry in whatever was going on in La Perla. That's amazing.
Yeah, and if you can see the image, so I actually didn't really know what I was going to paint, and I said, okay, I only have 2 free days really. So I said, okay, let's do just something small, and there's a small spot, and I said, okay, I know there's a lot of iguanas, even though they're not native, but like they're all over, and I said, oh, they're really cute. I love reptiles, so I said, okay, can I paint an iguana? And we had a drink down the bar. And it was my first time drinking the frozen sangria. So I painted the iguana drinking that, and it's next to a pool. So he's on a lifesaver, and he has all these sweatshirts, swimsuits. Yeah. There are so many chickens just walking around, right. Chickens and hens and rooster. So on my way that day to paint, I stumbled upon a really beautiful rooster or hen. I don't know which one. So I painted the rooster in there. And the iguana is actually gonna eat the chicken later.
Oh yeah. But the beauty is that you have this relationship to animals in all of your artistry, right? Because if we were to review your work, right, you've done some work in the Bronx as well, and of course you have your mural project in Chinatown. But let's talk a little bit about the mural work that you do in the Bronx. Let's talk about the way you choose your animals, like you just did in sharing your story in Puerto Rico, and just the importance of I guess Chinatown being reopened and active in I guess New York City in general, reopening. So, but I want to talk about the Bronx first because I know you work with the next generation, right? You work with schools, and so let's talk about those pieces.
So that's also how I got into painting murals, because I was doing a lot of illustration and printmaking before, and my friend who at the time works at Thrive Collective, and I got involved and I found, oh, this is really cool. So we work with a lot of public schools all throughout New York City, and we go there and it's several weeks of a program, and we work with the students from the ideas stage. So a lot of the ideas are actually from the students, and I'm like the chef. I collect all the ingredients and I cook them, and season them. So in the end, I and my colleague, we paint all the details and stuff. Yeah, but the students definitely participate from the idea throughout the whole stage. Yeah.
Okay, so in looking at some of these images, right? I'm looking at one in the hallway. I'm looking at one in front of a school, and some have symbolisms. But the one thing I noticed that's practically in all of them is an animal of some sort. So is that your influence?
Yeah, I think personally, because we see humans every day. We are surrounded by humans. So the older I get, the more fond of animals that I am. Yeah. And I really like reptiles for some reason. Like it just gradually, slowly grow on me. Yeah.
And
with
so
the Bronx
now,
one, sorry.
No, go, keep going.
No, yeah, so one of my first school to work in was Walton campus in the Bronx. I worked with my colleague, Nico Collazo, on one of the really big pieces, actually the largest mural with both of us had ever done. Yeah. And it was that was the first time. And then the year after, they really enjoyed the experience and they invited us back. So we painted a second mural at the same school. Yeah.
It's lovely, indoors and outdoors, right?
Yeah, so we covered cafeteria to the garden. Yeah, and it's really touching because it's with older kids. So sometimes, they don't show that much.
Right.
But it was great when I go back the second year and some students saw me in the hallway and they're like, we wish we can have your class again. That moment was really.
So you became popular. You became popular with the older kids because, with them, it's kind of like, you got to really grab their interest, right? But it's beautiful. Yeah, it's community building as well.
Yeah, that's how I started really enjoy. I think, okay, it's something I'm good at, and I really enjoyed the human interaction part. And I think, when you're creating something, this kind of human interaction is actually something that inspire you as well. And I love all the spontaneous things that happens when you're creating on the wall. Yeah.
Right, and so this leads me into your baby right now in helping and attracting attention to Chinatown with your Chinatown mural project, and how that's gone for you, right? It's been a rough year for all of us, but the concept, once again, there's lots of animals, but I love this concept of the way you design these murals so that people can go and take images in front of them and be part of the mural.
Yeah, so I met Mr. Carlin Chen, who is a local activist of Chinatown throughout all his life. And so we have this idea of, we want to showcase just some daily life moments. Very simple, but it's kind of like you can also become part of it. And so we wanted to create some elements that's kind of interactive or at least inviting. Yeah, because I think that's what we need is a lot of things come from ignorance.
Right.
So we want to showcase it, and then so people won't be as ignorant anymore, and realize, we all enjoy food. That's a big part of any culture, and we all enjoy playing board games, like the pigeons playing mahjong. It can be easily recreated as pigeons playing dominoes. It's in all the cultures we have this kind of games and food that bring us together.
Yeah, but I also love that you highlight pigeons because that's a New York thing, right?
Yeah,
New Yorkers pigeons.
Mm-hmm. And of course, one of them has to be a baseball fan. And there's like when I was painting it, I didn't know what clothes I would give them. And that's early morning start. So I saw a lot of old grandmas, they carry the little shopping cart. And I noticed a lot of, almost all the grandmas wear very little tiny flower dotted shirts. So I'm like, okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
I love that. So that game of that they're playing, it looks like dominoes, something that we play in our culture, but what is the name of it in your culture?
It's called mahjong.
Mahjong?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to dominoes, right?
Yeah, very, well, there's more complicated rules. It's more similar. The rules are similar to poker's, kind of, because you need like 4 sets to win, and then there's I actually never played it. I just watched some neighbors played it. Yeah, but I thought every country you travel to, you see old people on the streets playing games together, and that's really beautiful.
And once again, it's community, and I love that you incorporated the way our buildings are designed. There's fire escapes on it, and basically, I'm inviting all of you to go down to Chinatown and see it for yourself and experience it and take photos in front of it, because that's what she created it for, so that people can gain interest in going back to Chinatown and just exploring all that New York has to offer as we reopen and come back together.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's really our hope.
I know.
Just to bring some spice.
Yeah, well, it's not even that, to bring us all back together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We all need each other. And that's what
very much.
That's what keeps the city vibrant and going. And thanks for bringing it here, Peach, and thanks for sharing your journey to Puerto Rico. And you guys, you guys, once again, if you want to see more of her artwork, you can go to peachtao.com, and you can also visit her on Instagram at Peachy Blue. Okay, don't go anywhere, because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Hey there, sports fans. Happy Friday, happy weekend. During the pandemic, we gave you a version of our sports segment called Gimme 5, an ode to the virtual high five, an insider's look at 5 trending sports topics with some of the best in the business. From time to time, we shall revisit while we continue to social distance. This morning, we present a new take, a new look. We're calling it 5 on 5. Things are changing and looking up, thankfully. So this version of the sports segment features 5 trending stories from last weekend that you may have missed, along with 5 sports stories you should keep an eye on heading into this weekend, hence the name 5 on 5. Let's begin with our top 5 stories from the weekend. The Bronx Bombers are awfully powerful but very right-hand dominant at the plate. Yankees GM Brian Cashman has made a move to try and provide some lefty pop to the lineup. The Pinstripers acquire Rougned Odor from the Texas Rangers in exchange for a pair of minor league prospects. What a name that is. Odor is only 2 years removed from hitting 30 homers. His powerful lefty swing wasted little time providing a spark. His go-ahead single Sunday in Tampa Bay salvages a very tough series for the Yanks. Here's more with the newest Yankee.
Feels really good. I mean, we were playing really good game today. The pitcher did a great job today, and that about I feel really good too. So it was good, amazing feeling.
Our friend Yankee executive Ray Negron also provided us with an exclusive photo of Odor going from very hairy in Texas to cleanly shaven here in the Bronx. That policy still intact in order to wear the pinstripes. Yankee slugger Aaron Judge talks about avoiding the sweep at the hands of the rival Rays on Sunday.
It was a rough series all around. Really haven't been able to get anything going really offensively. Kind of missing that big hit. But today, we had Gio Urshela kind of lead us, just from his first at bat on. We needed a big hit. He hit that homer, and then late, adding a couple more runs for us. So it was, it's always nice ending the series with the win. I wish we would have won the series, but it's good to, on getaway day to get the win.
Well, the Yankees and Mets are our first story in our 5-on-5 segment. The Yankees have been up and down, and the Mets are in the same boat, too. What's even more puzzling is the fact that the Amazons can't seem to win for the best pitcher in baseball. Since 2018, staff ace Jacob deGrom has a 2.06 ERA in 78 starts. The club is 36-42 in those starts. That trend continued over the weekend. Here's more with deGrom.
It's a team effort. We're out there trying to win every baseball game. So, those guys had a tough matchup today. Their guy was really good on the mound. He didn't make many mistakes. So he did a good job pitching with, some runners in scoring position. And that's part of baseball. These guys do a good job of preparing every day. And they go about it in a professional way. And today we just got beat.
Speaking of disappointing, how about the performance by the Brooklyn Nets for the weekend against the undermanned LA Lakers? The Nets lose to the Lakers, grabs a spot here in 5-on-5. We caught up with star Kevin Durant to discuss the defeat.
They just played with more urgency to start the game, and they hit us in the mouth early, and that we was fighting uphill all game. And then they got hot. You come in the game, guys who haven't played as much get more opportunities and playing free. And they came out and hit us in the mouth. So they're the champs. You got to respect it.
We move from the NBA hardwood to the NHL ice. The Rangers and Islanders renewed their rivalry last Sunday. The Isles got the better of the matchup, prevailing 3-2 Sunday night on the island. It was their 8th win in 11 games to roll to 18-2-2 in Uniondale. They remain very much in the thick of things atop the East Division with Washington and Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, the Rangers are fighting for that final playoff spot, battling with rival Boston for the 4th and final spot in the East. For the 4th spot on 5-on-5, we have history at the Masters. Hideki Matsuyama rose to the ranks of golf greatness at the Masters on Sunday when he became the first Japanese player to win a men's major tournament. On Monday, he blended right in at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in his new green jacket. According to a fan who spotted him at the airport, Matsuyama was waiting to board a flight to Chicago on Monday with his green jacket laid on the seat next to him. His home country has sent golfers to the Masters since 1936, with at least one appearing in the tournament each year since 1968. After 85 years, he ends that winless drought for Japan. Number 5 on 5-on-5. How about looking back at history with the hopes of repeating it? With an eye toward an historic past, Arrow McLaren SP will hope it can repeat in combining a legendary car number and driver come late May. IndyCar veteran and 2-time Indy 500 winner Juan Pablo Montoya will man the number 86 Chevy in his 6th Indy 500 and first with AMSP. Harkening back to McLaren's racing historic Indy 500 pole with Peter Revson 50 years ago. Montoya's return to IndyCar will make his first Indy 500 since 2017, which consisted of a 4-season run with Team Penske, where in 2015 he finished 2nd in the championship and won his 2nd Indy 500. During that stint, the Colombian driver finished outside the top 6 in the 500 just once. He won as rookie in a one-off effort with Chip Ganassi Racing in 2000, a year after his rookie car title in 1999. We caught up with Montoya and Joseph Newgarden for the Indy 500 test last weekend.
It's funny, like yesterday, getting up to speed was like, ooh, and today you don't even think about it, and this afternoon even better. And so the first few runs with traffic was like, ooh, and then you start, relaxing and getting the flow of things and doing, we did some pit stuff at the end, but it's been great. Everybody at Arrow McLaren SP has been doing a really good job. It's been a lot of fun so far. And I think this test was very, very useful.
This is a great test to have to give a warm up for the month of May. It felt like the month of May, to be honest with you, a typical day to start out. So yeah, pretty happy we got this peek into the future.
There's 5 that you might have missed. Here's 5 stories to keep an eye on heading into the weekend. New York City Football Club is gearing up to start the new season. The first official game is tomorrow, Saturday, April 17th. Time just flies this spring. Should be an exciting campaign for them in MLS and in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. The core of what's been one of the best teams in the league over the past few years is largely intact, but NYCFC has almost zero depth across the front 3 and precious little depth in central defense. Hard to say if they are any closer to winning at all, despite having a team with a core in its prime. Meantime, the Yanks will be calling the stadium home for the weekend, welcoming rival Tampa Bay for a redo of last weekend's series on the road. They grab a spot in our 5-on-5 look ahead. The same goes for the Broadway Blue Shirts. The Rangers will take on the New Jersey Devils this weekend at a meeting of tri-state rivals. The Devils are out of the playoff picture and likely would love to do the same to the Rangers. The Rangers are home Saturday at MSG and then in Newark on Sunday to face the Devils. Sunday will also be the day that Fordham women's softball will wrap up a 4-game weekend series with Rhode Island here in the Bronx. The Rams have been streaking of late, hitting 20 wins in a row last weekend. Impressive indeed. And to round out our 5-on-5, keep an eye on the Knicks. The orange and blue play tonight in Dallas and return Sunday to the world's most famous arena to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. They are hanging in the playoff conversation in the East. That's 5-on-5. We hit the C-list for 2 football careers heading in opposite directions. The AFC East will have a new look this year. There will be no Julian Edelman lining up for the New England Patriots. We won't be seeing Sam Darnold under center for the Jets either. Edelman is hanging up his cleats shortly after news broke that the Pats had released Edelman after he failed a physical related to last year's knee injury. Edelman announced that he has played the last game of his pro football career. Edelman retires with 3 Super Bowl rings and a Super Bowl MVP award, and he retires with a unique place in Patriots history for his many contributions, which included not only being one of the NFL's top possession receivers, but also a contributor as a punt returner, a passer on trick plays, and even a cornerback at times. From one beloved star to a franchise quarterback that never was, who couldn't seem to find love in the Big Apple. Darnold spent more than 2 months not knowing whether he'd still be with the Jets as their quarterback. Now he's property of the Carolina Panthers via a trade. He gets the quote of the week. Open quote, "I imagined I was going to be the franchise quarterback of the New York Jets for a long time, and once you realize that the team that drafted you is moving on, it stings a little bit," close quote. The fact that the Panthers wanted Darnold took away some of that bite. Darnold gets a fresh start in Carolina, as do the Jets, who are taking a big gamble in the draft. One thing is sure, that old Jets-Pats rivalry likely won't be the same in 2021. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
Welcome back. Our last guest is a powerhouse spoken word artist and poet that had the opportunity to grace our open artist stage last year, right before the pandemic hit and closed our studio. And so his powerful words were so captivating that we had to bring him back on our virtual edition in honor of National Poetry Month. Everyone, please welcome Ameresoul. What's up?
Hello,
what's
everybody.
up?
What's up? What's up? Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Ay, ay, ay. Bueno, nice to see you again. You were like one of our last artists, not the last, but one of our slim to last artists that we were able to present on our open artist stage, which we totally missed. And well, as you know, life has shifted and pivoted for all of us. And from what I gather, you're soon to be a dad in the process.
Yes,
so
yes.
obviously
Exciting.
You were busy.
It's exciting. It's exciting. I love
It's
it.
exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So aside from making babies, what else have you been able to do throughout the break? Well, I'm calling it a break, but meanwhile, we have to keep going.
I mean, it's been a rough year. Absolutely been a rough year. You know, I actually lost my father on March 26, 2020 due to COVID. Probably one of the very first.
My condolences.
Yeah. So it's one of those, you know, it's been a rough year from the beginning. You know, he was one of the very first people to actually pass away from COVID. So, you know, from the beginning of COVID to the end, I just been concentrating on regrouping myself, concentrating on family, which is very important to me. My mother, you know, taking care of my mom at home, making sure that she's okay, because, you know, they were married for 37 years. So just making sure that she's okay. At the same time, just working on my content, just perfecting everything that I've been working on. Old pieces that I want to just make sure that they, even if I'm doing them 500 times, a week, I'm giving different energy every single time. So that's basically what I've been working on now.
No, that's good that you mentioned that, and that we do bring into light the importance of, like, just, if there's one thing that this pandemic has taught us all, is what really matters in our everyday life, right? Which is love, family, and those who are in your immediate environment, and with that also comes your own legacy. Right. Yeah. So aside from now being, you're going to become a father, you have been working on this video, or these video excerpts, which I got a glimpse of one of them, in which it looks like you're reminiscing about your upbringing or something.
Yeah. So I've been working very closely with Studio Period in the past couple of months, which is literally a young, very enthusiastic party. I think he's 19 years old right now, and he's the one who shoots it. It's him by himself. He had this dream of captivating different artists from the Bronx, and we've been working for a while together. So every single time I have an idea of how I want to shoot my videos, I hit him up and I say, hey, I got an idea, and he's always down to just do it, and he just makes amazing videos. It's really captivating. The last piece that I actually recorded was Error, which is a piece that I actually performed on BronxNet Open Artist last year. And it's really talking about the neighborhood that I'm in. And, like we were speaking about earlier, I want to create that conversation of where am I spitting? What's this building that I'm in? What's this neighborhood that I'm spitting at? Just to create that conversation so I could bring the awareness to my community and tell you, hey, I'm sitting next to this broken radiator that's been broken for the past 7 years, but we're trying to work on it, So these are some of the things that I'm trying to portray in there. And, I'm a poet, so I'm going to hide different clues and things. So
I like that, like a little treasure hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Video. And
Yeah.
really all it is bringing awareness and engaging in conversation about things that one may actually walk by and not really pay attention to.
Exactly. And it's the poetic style. We, as poets, we want to create things. We go on stage and we have people read our content, but we really have there's a lot of poets, not all, that have deeper meanings to the poetry. And it's like, I'm also bringing awareness to poetry and how fascinating poetry can actually be, especially in the month of April, where, all eyes are on us. So we have to really say hey, look how cool this is, So, and that's something that I've really been working on and just really trying to, highlight in my career. We had to take a change in the pandemic of how we were going to be portraying things. I can't post up my words on social media because it wouldn't bring the same energy if somebody's reading it. So we had to totally change up the game. There's no open mics that we could go to. There are live streams, but after a while it gets tiring to, be waiting on a phone screen for God knows how long, because there's 700 other poets in the same live. So, we had to adapt to different things.
Yeah, no, I love it. And also you're still exercising your craft, right? Except you're doing it in visual form. So you created like visual poetry. And on top of that, from the sounds of it, based on what I experienced on your IG account, it looks like almost like little mini documentaries.
Yes, exactly. So one of the things I was also working on is my book. I've been working on my book for the past, 6-7 years, but during the pandemic, I got to really focus on because this is something I'm going to be releasing to the world. So how is it going to connect to everything that I've been going through, especially from losing my father, which took a huge toll on me. We actually got to bury my dad on March 26th of this year. We flew out to Puerto Rico, and he's from Trujillo Alto, so we actually flew out to his hometown. It was very inspirational going to, it's literally like we're walking the same exact footsteps that my father walked in. And, just seeing the houses, because I've never been to Puerto Rico. That was my first time. So we got to actually bury his ashes with my grandfather inside of his tomb. So it was one of those things that I wanted to take a year to just really regroup and really focus on what content I'm going to be putting out there. My social media, like I tell everybody, it's kind of all over the place because, but I also want people to see the real Ameresoul, the real Robert Cortijo. Aside from performing, I'm an actual person. That's one thing I like to tell people. Like, poetry is my passion, and it's how I'm releasing everything that I've been going through. Most of the content that I'm releasing out there.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful, and you're an advocate, and
Yeah.
also you're what I call a change agent, because you're
Yeah.
driven by transforming the next generation, which is a beautiful thing. And I want to say, you know, we're out of time, but I do want to say, right, you're so poetic. Mira pa que tú veas. You're so poetic that in the loss of your dad, and my condolences that you manifested becoming a dad. Mira que cosa.
Absolutely. When one life is, you know, and I've been talking to my girlfriend about it all the time. You know, my father passed away, and then, you know, like a couple of months later, you know, I'm about to be a dad, and it's just, I feel it. I feel the goosebumps just talking about it right now. So it's definitely one of those things with a life that's taken, you know, another life, and I know that his spirit's gonna be with me walking forward, and with my daughter now that, you know, it's gonna be a beautiful baby girl, you know. So I'm definitely gonna take that with me in my career and whatever I do next. So.
Beautiful. Well, condolences and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, pero he's going to perform for us. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, Ameresoul, he's going to present one of his poems for us. So don't go anywhere. Hey, everyone. Welcome back here now to perform Pump 2 Shots. Please welcome Ameresoul.
Pump 2 shots to my chest and watch me take my last breath. I know I haven't hit fame yet, but that was my next step. I wanted to use the mic to project my voice. Peace and equality on my mind, that was my best friend. It's ironic. It's ironic because I died with peace and equality on my mind, but the burning lead burning straight through my skin left my life so hectic. Do you instantly regret this? Do you instantly regret killing someone who couldn't live his life like he planned it? He wanted to speak in the auditoriums with a mic in one hand. I scratched that. I want to watch the goosebumps running down your spine when it's not so hard for you to find that these words are being spit by the spirits of the fallen youth soldiers. Rest in peace, Junior. Rest in peace, Alton. Rest in peace, Alfred. Rest in peace, Aunt. Rest in peace, Varner. Rest in peace, Aunt. I call them soldiers. I call them soldiers because they were at war with our society, using social trends and fearlessness to cock back at negativity. But negativity is winning the so-called war. We lost some good ones, but we continue to cock back and reload our ammo with the generations that we learned from generations before us. And the knowledge that expands across the country stand we never saw with lack of panic. Yo, mister, I got this. No, we got this. 2 shots to the chest, and now their life is all about panic. The mic is quiet. Hear that static. Thank you.
Love it. Yes, we got this. It takes a community. Yes. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Oye, you guys, for more on Ameresoul, be sure to follow him on Instagram. He's got his video sessions going on once a week. Check it out at Instagram at Ameresoul. And bueno, happy National Poetry Month, y'all. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor.